The HVAC Uncensored podcast is brought to you by Yellow Jacket. 66 years of expertise built into every tool. www.yellowjacket.com.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America. And guys, you'll be hearing this on Friday. We are recording this Tuesday, September 11th. So we'd like to just give a little shout out and a thank you and remembrance to all those people who gave their lives on this day some 17 years ago. The first responders, the military personnel who had to go fight for this, my brothers in arms, and just thank you. And guys, never, ever forget this day. Might be 17 years. It is something that united our country and hopefully never, ever happens again. With that being said, moving on.
If you're trying to take your HVAC game to the next level, then buckle your seatbelt, crank up the volume, and try not to be offended. Because you're listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast with Gil Kelley and Kelly McKay. Now, here's Gil and Kelley.
What up, everybody? Welcome to episode 11 of the HVAC Uncensored podcast. Thank you to everybody for checking out this episode. I am feeling good. Well, actually, I feel like shit, but I'm feeling good to be podcasting, and I was always sitting across my good buddy, Kelly McKay. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. Just fairly staying busy, I guess. I mean, that's unbelievable, right? I taught my guys a long time ago, anytime somebody asks you, how's the business doing? Or you guys staying busy? Unbelievable. That's how you're supposed to respond. That way nobody gets any vibes that you're slow or anything like that, which we're not really slow. We're doing fine. But that's an old Tom Hopkins thing, sales thing. He says, anytime anybody asks you how you doing, unbelievable. So I'm doing unbelievable.
That's funny because I think you told me that the first time me and you ever talked. You told me that story.
Yeah,
because I remember you saying that. Yeah, we're kind of the same. We're steady. We still have quite a few installs. Surprisingly, I'm really surprised by the amount of installs that we have right now. To be quite honest, service is obviously wishy-washy. A lot of more calls than I would expect because the weather here is goofy. We got the rain that we were talking about last week. And then obviously we have, this Hurricane Florence coming in that the news keeps saying that we're going to get it pretty good. So I hope that they're wrong. So I guess we'll we'll see what happens. I'll be prepared as I can be. If I shouldn't have. I don't know. My house is kind of tall, so I don't know if my house is going to be the best place to be in a hurricane. I mean, as far as power and generator stuff like that, it's good, but I don't know. When it gets down to it, I might have to make a game time decision. So I don't know. We'll see. But
always got to stay, 2 or 3 steps ahead on that. Like think about this is something that Mike talked about this morning, Mike Aguilera and CEO Warrior. He's like, you got to stay ahead of this stuff, and you got to be 3 steps ahead. And he listed a huge long list of all the things that need to be covered. So it's something to really consider and think about. If it's a possibility that you could have any flooding or anything like that, just to be prepared for that. I mean, of course, always want to be prepared for high winds and property damage and just being safe, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm worried about. I'm not so worried about as much, not flooding like my house, because my house is weird. My basement is technically not underground. It's grade. So when you pull up to my house, you're going to see a door, and that's technically the basement. And then you go up these big tall steps to my first floor, and then you go up. So that's what makes my house so tall.
Yeah.
But we've had some storms that have they haven't been that bad, but they've been high winds, but nothing like hurricane kind of winds. In my master bedroom up there, you sound like you're in a hurricane. So
Yeah.
that's what made me think about that. Well, fuck, maybe winds wouldn't be the best thing, but property wise, I do have a good bit of property, and I have a tree that's huge that makes me nervous. And the deck that comes off my second floor, my father-in-law has patched this thing and repaired things, you know. It needs to be resurfaced, to be honest. It needs to be ripped up and put back down. But we've patched this thing over the years, and that makes me nervous. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we definitely, you know, as far as food, we're always stocked. Things like that. That generator will go, I think, up to like 2 weeks with the amount of propane that I have. So I could go up to 2 weeks with no power, running at 24 hours a day. So batteries, that kind of shit. But it's definitely something I need to think about, because it's not like it's just me with the kiddos involved. It's bad enough sitting around with no like electronics. They're going to kill each other. So,
Right.
but anybody else out there that's in, you know, up near me in the East Coast, you know, stuff like that. Especially, I think the Carolinas are supposed to be pretty bad.
Yeah,
so
sure.
any of you guys out there, if you're in harm's way, man, definitely, you know, I wish you guys the best. Be safe, and I hope hope you guys are okay. Actually, real fast before we move on, me and Kelly, I almost forgot, Kelly, me and you just talked about it, and I almost skipped it. I want to give a little shout out this week. Well, 2 shout outs. One that I keep meaning to do and don't is obviously always to my my little bro Isaiah. I love Isaiah to death, man. I've become very, very close with him. He really is like a little brother to me. I love his parents, you know, Mr. Ted and Miss Brenda. They're awesome, awesome people. If you guys have not checked out Isaiah's YouTube channel, ZSA, HVAC with ZSA, check it out, man. Kid does amazing stuff. He really does. It's inspiring what he does on his channel. So if you haven't checked that out, please do. The other one is, I do not know this guy personally. I don't even know if he's in our Facebook group, to be honest, and I don't really care. I saw this in another group. I wish I knew more, but it's questions I didn't want to ask on Facebook. It just felt like it wasn't appropriate. It's someone close to him. I don't know whether it's his wife, it's his mother. I don't know, but she was in a very, very, very bad car accident. Like, I think she's like on machines. They had to take out part of her skull and stuff like that. So I won't say your first name, bud, but Mr. Wood, T Wood is what I'll say. If you listen to this, man, or anybody listen to it, well, actually, I think it's okay. Travis Wood, if you listen to this, man, I hope you don't mind me saying your name. We send our prayers to you and your family, man. I hope whoever that is in that picture is okay. I know that I can only imagine what that feeling feels like. So we definitely send our prayers and hope that everything is okay with that.
Yeah, definitely. Our thoughts are with you. So for sure, I hope everything works out for the best.
Yeah, that's sad. So, yeah, man. Sorry, this little my cock vape fucking choked me there for a second.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say, I know you're not a big football fan, but I gotta say this: my Ravens waxed that ass this weekend. So if you're a Bills fan, I'm sorry, we bust your fucking ass. I know that we're not. It's not no huge feat beating the Bills, but I am proud of the way we won, because normally we play bad teams, we play down to them. We'd either fucking lose or we beat them like 17-10. So the fact that we did come out and smash them like that, I was pretty happy. It sucked being there. I still feel like shit. Me and my brother went to the game, got so fucking wet. I mean, I was wet in places I shouldn't have been wet, like, you know, sitting in a butthole puddle. It was yeah, dude, walking back to the car was horrible. I got home and just like peeling shit off. My money was like, I stopped to get a pack of cigarettes. Yes, I stopped to get a pack of cigarettes. But I'm like peeling off a $20 bill out of this and like handed it to the guy at the gas station. I'm like, sorry about that, bro. But I've been feeling like shit the last couple of days. And I'm going to tell you guys this story only because I keep it real with you guys. And it is kind of funny. But yesterday, I'm leaving this call. I'm driving and, I'm actually listening to a podcast. I forget what I'm listening to. But I'm just, I'm driving, minding my business. I feel that, something pop up in the chamber. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm like, oh, something popped up in the chamber again. I'm like, oh, okay, Yeah, well, it wasn't it was a splat. And had to make a little detour on the way back to the office to change my underpants because I definitely had a shark sneak in. It's the first time the old shark monsters got me in a while, but
it
definitely got me yesterday.
Get you. Yeah, you got to watch out for you.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, I was loaded with the wrong kind of ammo, so I went full bore, and I shouldn't have. But it happens to the best of us. But
I don't know. I was just gonna say, other than that, what I've been doing that's kind of exciting is I am rebranding my company. It's something I've been working on and off for like over a year now, and it's cool. We just got our van back last week. It's get like a full wrap, and then I've got another truck going in tomorrow, and then we got another truck going in whenever they can squeeze us in after that. But I'm changing my name. I wrote my letter to my clients today, just explaining why and the thinking behind it. But it's been a nerve-wracking thing, but I'm super excited that it's finally rolling out, and we can basically just upgrade our look, upgrade our appearance within the community. And, I want all of us on my team and my team members to all, stand proud for what we do and how we do it. And so we're upgrading uniforms. The uniform guy comes tomorrow, and we'll be talking with him and seeing some samples. But yeah, I went through the whole gamut of, picking a name and then making sure the website's open, and then getting the logo, and then getting the van wrap done. And so I'm finally seeing it come to reality. So it's kind of exciting.
That's awesome, man. Good for you. I remember me and you talked about that like a good bit ago that you wanted to do it. So that's awesome. That's finally come to fruition, man. Good for you. That's awesome.
I'm happy about it. I'm excited.
So did you go ahead and pick, Gil's Heating and Cooling like we talked about?
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice, man. See, that's that universal name, man. Fucking everybody knows Gil's awesome. So they're just like, yeah, fuck yeah, I want to go with that company.
No, we're calling it Service HQ, high quality service every time. That'll be our tagline at least. So.
Oh, shit. I like that. I remember you saying like one of the things, the points behind that is supposed to be like you could pick your company up and put it anywhere and it could fit in, something like that.
So it's not so much just, it's one of those things too, that the bigger perception there is when it comes to anybody purchasing anything within your company. So the bigger your company can look, even if you're just a small 2-man shop, the bigger, customers feel more comfortable paying more when they make an infrequent purchase decision with a reputable company. And visibility, believe it or not, equals, it helps you be more reputable and have more backing behind your brand.
No, you're good. No, and that does make sense. And to be honest, I got to thinking about that after one of the other podcasts we started talking about when I brought up the topic about a big company around here and how they charge more. How a guy told me like, oh, this La-da-da company is charging, $2,000 more for this and blah, blah, blah. And we'd start talking about it. And I started thinking about that, about why people do that. I mean, and that does make sense, that, customers feel that, that bigger, oh, this company's bigger, they're not going anywhere. It makes them feel more comfortable spending that kind of money. I mean, our company tries to do the same thing. On the side of our trucks, we have like I guess I probably shouldn't say this. We have like 4 different numbers for different places, but they all go to the same fucking office. But customers don't know that. They see multiple numbers thinking that we have separate locations. And there's still, I got customers that have been customers for years that still think we have several locations after they've been told that we don't, but I just let it go. Like, yeah, just call that number and they'll transfer you over to the Glumberini office that I'm at. Like,
yeah.
You don't notice that the same girl answers the phone all the time? Like,
yeah, but it's true. It's just the way it is. It's just like McDonald's. The reason why people go to McDonald's is not because they make a great burger. It's because they're consistent, and you see them everywhere. Well, it's kind of the same. People expect consistency. They expect maybe a higher level of service when they buy from a bigger company. It's just psychology. It's just the way people purchase. So it's not that they haven't purchased plenty from me, having the feel and look of a smaller company, but I want to someday I want to grow an empire, and I'm trying. So I'm just doing what I think's the right thing to do, and the stuff that I've learned, this is the direction it steered me. So that's why I'm doing it, and hopefully it pays off.
Yeah, no, it sounds good, man. I know that you have worked hard on it. Like I said, I know that we talked about it a while ago, and all the stuff you had to processes you had to go through to get to where you are now. I can only imagine it was a tough process. So like I said, man, that's awesome. Good for you. And I'm sure it'll
Thanks,
work out great.
Appreciate it.
But alrighty, I guess normally we have 40-minute intros, so let's actually go into Mr. Go Make Money. So let's hear Kelly preaching on. So here we go.
Now, here's Go Make Money with Kelly McKay.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Today I want to talk about the old cliche, failing to plan is planning to fail. I know you've heard this probably 1,000 times, but there's a bunch of truth stacked behind that. And it's just amazing how much more you can get accomplished in one day if you just start planning your day. But I want to go a little deeper into that when it comes to like planning to all my installers out there. Typically if you're doing an install, whether it be a coil and condenser or full system or just a furnace, most of the time you're going to have somebody with you, whether it be an apprentice, a helper, a teammate, a coworker, whoever. Somebody's usually riding with you or following you to the job to break off maybe afterwards. But if you can just take 5 minutes to plan before rolling up to the job, like, hey, Mike, sorry, my computer just went off here. But it's like, hey, Mike, hey, I'm going to start downstairs. You throw the reclaim machine, get the thing pumping down, and then I'll come back up and I'll get the coil downstairs, or you help me get the coil downstairs, and then I'll tackle the inside, get the coil ready to pull. You let me know, I'll pull it out and cut it loose, and you can get started. Just that 5 minutes of just preparing, like, I'm going to help you get everything you need out the condenser. Then I'll go down and start tearing out the coil, and then you just let me know when the reclaimer is done, and I'll cut it loose, and then go from there. It's amazing how just a 5-minute conversation doesn't leave you like rolling up to the job and then getting out of the truck and then trying to decide who's doing what and which way you're headed. Just get a plan together before you get to the job, and you'll save so much time, and the job will just go a lot smoother. That's the main thing that I want to get across, is that the job always goes smoother when you take a little bit of time to plan. It's just like your day when you get up every morning. If you can plan your day, which I know is kind of difficult, but if there's always a few tasks that you want to get accomplished through your day, even if you're a service expert and you're driving from house to house and you're not even sure what the whole schedule looks like for the day, the bottom line is there's still some things that you need to get done. So if you just make a list of those things and check them off throughout the day, as you get them finished, you'll feel more accomplished. You will get more accomplished, and your day will just go a lot smoother. Same with service. When let's say you got a compressor replacement to do. Well, once you get to the home and get ready to set up, get everything you need out there at the condenser that it's gonna take to do the job. That way you can minimize these trips back and forth to the van or your truck, whatever you're working out of, and stay there. The longer, and that's always the goal when you have a helper or an apprentice that's riding with you too, is to have, the main guy, the foreman or whatever you want to call him, the journeyman, the expert, have him be able to stay there and work instead of making trips back and forth to the van, because he's the one with a lot of knowledge. What happens a lot of times is that you wind up, if you're the expert, you wind up, walking back to the van, and your helper may not know what to do. He may just be left there twiddling his thumbs, and that's just wasting time. So, or with his thumb up his ass, one or the other. Get the reclaimer going, then bring everything you need. Get the new compressor out there, get it unboxed, get the rubber feet put on, decide where you're going to cut the copper, disconnect, take your bolts out to pull the compressor, just totally to where you can just stay right on the job and work. The more you can do that, the faster it's going to go, the better your day is going to go. And same with the business owners. I just took a picture because I got here to the office a little before Gil was ready to roll tonight. So I just mapped out my day for tomorrow, because it's something that I normally do in the mornings, but here's a list of the shit that I got to get done. I got to check with my guy on my stickers. We're running out of stickers for our furnaces and air conditioners. So I've talked to my guy who makes them, but he's in the process of moving from one building to another. So he's normally not this slow, but he's being slow at the moment. So need to check with him so we can get stickers. I've got bullet points for customer notification. So I'm going over processes when the guys call the customer to let them know that they're going to be heading that way. Just putting together a little better checklist that we make sure we cover every time we call our clients so they can have a better experience. Review, revised, rebrand letter. I wrote the rebrand letter today to send out to all our clients, but I made it a little long. So it needs to be revised and shortened to just one page, because it'll just be easier to mail, and people will more than likely read it if it's not too long. Script for voice shot. So we use voice shot to send out like we instead of just calling 350 or 400 people that's on our preventative maintenance list, I'm just going to record something. I'll split that list into like two times, and then it will automatically shoot a, it'll call the number, and when the people pick up, it'll just say whatever I recorded, saying that it's time to schedule your fall maintenance. I got to extract the list from House Call Pro and then upload that list into Voice Shot. I've got to contact Barnett Supply, because I need to get with them and see if I can't get them to start supplying some of our stuff. I got to notify the winner of 2 free years of filters. I just did a contest on Facebook, my Facebook page, to try and collect more email addresses, and I'm giving away a 2-year supply of filters. So I got to let them know who won. Create an offer and build the email to the participants of the filter contest. Then bullet point the next steps in the sales intro, and create another Facebook post. So that's on my agenda tomorrow. So I've got a lot of shit to do, and it's never ending. Like my list can go like that day in, day out, day in, day out. There's always so much to do, but the better I plan, the more likely it is that I get the shit done. So that's the main thing, guys. Failing to plan is planning to fail.
Yeah, I am very bad. Anybody that's had any kind of dealings with me knows that I always get so busy, and it's not really an excuse because we all get busy, but I have the memory of like an old man with dementia. So I have started, writing things down, keeping a calendar and different things like that, as far as me personally, about remembering to do things, remembering to call a customer back, and so forth with stuff like that. But as far as you said about on a job, and me and you have actually touched this topic from a little different angle, but you so right when you get on a job, guys. It's about production. It's about working efficiently, working smart, not hard. You should always be doing like Kelly said. You pull up before you get to the job, and before if you guys are meeting there, you meet at like a block up or something. And like Kelly said, hey, when you get in there, hey man, you start laying down the the drop cloths. I'm gonna let the customer know. I'll start getting the equipment off the truck, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're always doing something. There's not time just standing around, okay? That's going to help everybody. If your production is moving, that's going to help you in your job. Your bosses are going to see that kind of stuff, but it makes the day so much easier. Like I've always said, you should never have empty hands when you're walking back and forth. If something needs to be taken back to the truck and brought back, well, then do it. And the same point, like Kelly said, if you're going to be changing a compressor or you're changing an outdoor unit, then you need to, everything that you need to do that, get it around back. Okay. Don't go, okay, I got the compressor out. Now I need copper fittings. Oh, now I need my torch. Now I need my vacuum pump. No, that's working stupid. Just a couple minutes of planning. And one thing that I've done, and if you guys see Andrew Greaves, aka HVAC, is very good at making kits. And I've gotten to do this, and a lot of the guys do it, where a lot of the installers, they'll have like an outdoor kit and an indoor kit. So if a guy's doing a furnace, he'll have those little, I think they use like the little Husky ones, where they'll have, plugs in there, gas fittings, plugs, like receptacles, all the different wire connectors. They make it easy. So they grab that box and maybe a bucket, and everything that they need to do an indoor unit, a furnace, an air handler, is going to be in there. Same with an outdoor unit. They might have a disconnect and all the fittings for, like the seal tight and all that kind of stuff. It's just thinking ahead to make your production better, so you're not going to the truck 100 times. And then just about how you, even in service, about how you're just, you're carrying your time. I mean, I guess every job that you go on, actually, like all you guys, when you listen to this, think about the day prior and think about all the service calls you did, and actually be honest with yourself and think about how much time was wasted on each call. How much time that were you sitting there checking Facebook on your phone while you're in the attic, or whatever. And sometimes that adds up to being a good bit of time. So I definitely agree when you put a plan in place to, for anything. I mean, to be honest, it's anything in life, not even just what we do. It works out better in the long run.
I just read somewhere that the average for, I don't know if there was an age limit on there or what. I'm not sure, because I should have paid more attention, I guess. But the people who are on social media, and I can attest to this, even though it's little sections of time throughout the day, it adds up to like 3-4 hours a day that you're looking at your phone for something, especially if you play a game on your phone, which I'm guilty. I play a game. I play used to play Clash of Clans, but now I play Clash Royale. So if anybody's on Clash Royale or Clash of Clans, two badass games. But you probably don't want to download them if you're not currently, because they're addicting and you'll wind up playing them and wasting your time. So
what are you, fucking 12?
Hey, man, it's just something to do on your phone, besides looking at social media. It gets boring. So
I have it downloaded, but I haven't played it, so I can't say anything.
But like Gil said, like being prepared, we talked about like taking a table. Like you can get those tables at Walmart or Home Depot or Lowe's, wherever, that fold in half. So the footprint of the table can fit on a van very easily, or a truck very easily, because it folds in half. And it's like a, 2.5 to 3 foot by 6 foot table, but it folds in half. So it's like 3 by 3, and it's even got a handle on it. I found ours in the camping section, and this table, like if you got a basement or somewhere and you're going to have to do, no matter what you're doing, take your table downstairs, set it up. Then you can put all your tools on the table so you're not constantly bending over for your tools. It's just a way to be a little more efficient and to save yourself some wear and tear on your body for sure.
Yeah, we have those. I have one sitting right next to me. Actually, I use in the little studio here just to have some things sitting on. But we have those in our trucks too. It started, one of our old lead installers started getting them to be able to set ductwork on and started putting it together. And then they realized the same thing you just said. Well, shit, when I'm doing an install, instead of bending on the floor, I can just sit it up here. It's not on somebody's carpet. You know, the drop cloth gets kicked and somehow something's sitting on the carpet or the rug or something. So
yeah, not only that, you know, you should not be putting your tools and shit on people's washer and dryer, you know, getting them all scratched up and shit. Like you have, I mean, that's a pet peeve of mine. I'll walk downstairs and the guys just have their shit just stacked everywhere. And that really drives me crazy because it's not worth scraping up somebody's nice appliances. Or a lot of times if there's like a little shelf down there that's got maybe their laundry detergent and their bleach and, you know, whatever it's got on it, you go setting tools on that. That's a good place to lose your tools because it just blends in and you wind up walking away and leaving your tools. So I'm really against leaving your tools on the customer's, you know, surfaces. I think we should set them on the floor or get you a table, set it on the table.
Yeah, one of my big pet peeves is when I see guys sitting their tool bags on like the washer and dryer. No. I walked in one time and these people had like this washer and dryer like it was like from NASA. It looked very, very...
Yeah, it's probably a $5,000 washer and a $5,000 dryer.
Exactly. It looked expensive as hell. And he's got his tool bag sitting up there just rubbing against it. And I was like, pick that fucking tool bag up. I mean, pick it straight up. Don't pull it. Don't scratch anything. Yeah. Pick it straight up and do not fucking do that again. That is just asking for something bad to happen. That's just very, very dumb. Like Kelly said, if you have to sit on the floor, not everybody's going to have a table. I understand. Bring in something, you know, a little drop cloth. Like we have bigger ones for like big jobs, but then we have like small work ones where they might only be like, you know, 3x6, like the size of a table almost. Just something you can lay down while you're actually just doing service. Because you got to think about that kind of stuff, guys. Just because you're not doing an install doesn't mean you don't got to protect where you're working. You're there to make money, not fuck something up and have to pay for it. That's the opposite of what we're trying to do. So those little things help. And I've always been over, you know, I've talked about 100 times, you know, wearing booties, things like that, little things like that make a big difference. But one thing real fast that I want to, before I forget, because like I said, I have dementia, like I feel like I do, I'll forget, is when Kelly was talking about, you know, when you're a younger guy and, you know, you got the journeyman or the lead technician in there doing something that you're going back and forth to get to the truck. The other thing for you younger guys is once you get to know the lead technician that you're working with, start to think ahead. Think about what they're going to need. So then when they turn around, hey, go, oh, okay. Nice, man. Thanks for those PVC cutters. You know, that's how you're going to get yourself noticed, man. Like start to think ahead, especially once you have a little bit of time where you might not know how to do something, but you know what's needed to do it. You know, does that make sense? They don't know what they're doing per se, but they know what they need and have that shit ready. I know me, if I'm working with somebody and they do that, that's a great day. I'm like, my man, that's what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, really. I mean, your job is to make sure that the expert that you're riding with, your job is to make sure that he can sit there and just work. So he doesn't have to be doing this shit, you know? So, I mean, stopping because, we need the PVC glue. You didn't bring the, you know, if he's like, hey, we're going to finish this up and do this, and then we'll run the drain line and then we'll do the sheet metal, whatever the case. Okay, well, is the sheet metal down here or is it with us? Well, we need to go get the sheet metal. Is the PVC here? Is the PVC fittings here? Just make sure that he's got what he needs. So, yes, 100% always be thinking ahead. And then once you learn some stuff, don't be afraid to jump in there and just get with it and do it. it really takes that type of attitude to really start building your skills and advancing your careers. You got to just jump in there and do it. So once you learn a little bit, and I mean, the expert guy's right there with you. Just ask him, is it okay if I run this from here to here to here? Yeah, great. And then he can critique you once you're done. But jump in there and get it done. I've had some really go-getters that came to work with me when I was working for somebody else, and they would ride with me for like 1 week. And one guy came from the military, so he wasn't and he did HVAC in the military, but it's different. The residential heating and cooling is a little different than what he was used to seeing. But I'm telling you, by the third day, the guy was just jumping in front of me and taking over. And he turned out to be a phenomenal guy and great tech, and I'm actually still friends with him today. He moves all around the country all the time because his wife is career military. But great guy, great family, but he's a go-getter. He jumps in and gets the shit done. So don't, gain a little confidence, jump in there and get shit done.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's good advice. Or the other thing is even if you don't jump in and you see them doing something, ask them why they're doing it the way they're doing it. Because ultimately, when you're a younger guy, that's how you're going to learn. I guess as a younger guy, you're not necessarily going to just take stuff from one guy. You might work with different people and you pick up little pieces to kind of make your own. But ask them, hey, why do you do this? Or why are you running that wire like this? And they're going to tell you, oh, I do it like this because I got to have it out of the way of this, this, and this. Or I can't put the receptacle here and the switch here because the gas line's coming out, and then it starts to make sense. Oh, okay. So just ask questions, ask that little kind of things. I know we weren't getting into new text, just kind of went that way, but some good information given. But all right, man, I think we got that topic sewn up.
I think it's time to say what?
Now time to say what with Gil Kelley.
What's up, everybody? So I'm going to go a little different topic. I've had quite a few people hit me up about this topic, and I guess first of all, let me say that I'm giving all the information given is going to be my opinion because I'm obviously no expert in this, this area, but it's going to be digital manifolds. And one thing that I am a tool whore, so there's not many that I haven't owned and I haven't had my hands on. So I've had guys just asking me questions about different ones and which ones they should get and different things like that. And it's kind of hard to say, obviously people expect me to say, oh, get the Yellow Jacket because they're a sponsor. And that's not always going to be my answer. I will say that I have been using those Yellow Jacket, the P51 870s, and it is a really, really nice manifold. I do really, really like it. There's a few things that if I could change, I would change on it, but I won't say that here. I do have a review video coming up on the YouTube channel that will go over that. But so I guess one big thing, and I've said this before, is guys talk about the I manifold and stuff like that. I don't consider that a digital manifold. That isn't another class in itself. It's like a system analyzer. So I don't put that in with my Testo 550s, my S-Mans, my Yellow Jacket, the Titans and things like that, because I just think it's different. So I guess the best way to do this is presently, I guess I will name off the ones that I have used, and I guess I'll just say, what I like and don't like about them. I guess I have the Field Piece S-Man 460s. I guess I'm not doing these, the due diligence that they need, proper justice, because I do have these, but I used them for a good while and then I stopped because, like I've said 100 times, they were a present from my father, and when he passed, they were more of a sentimental value to me. So they sit behind me all the time. I did like them. They worked great. I had no complaints. They are beefy, they are kind of big, but I never had any issues when I used them. But like I said, I didn't use them very long, so it's kind of hard to go from there. I love the Testo 550s. I do. I still have a pair that I still use regularly. I like that they're light, they're compact for what they do and for the price. However, I have had issues with my old German pair, which got stolen. Those things were like a rock, man. They were awesome. The new ones that are made in China, the quality's not there. They're still good, and I'm not complaining because I understand why they did what they did. Before, they were a lot more expensive. They were able to manufacture them in China, but to make them more affordable so people could have them. But I have my high side transducer blow, and so now I have three of the Testo 550s, and one of them are just no good. I can't do shit with them. I have had the Testo Smart Probes. I mean, not to bash Testo, if you're not next to the unit, I don't think they're very good. The range is horrible. Just not a fan. I have the Sporlan Smart Tool. I think that is an awesome tool. I love the app. I still use that from time to time. Once again, distance is not very good on it. But it is that is a good tool. I do like that. The Pro R tool, I have never personally used, but some of my refrigeration buddies love that thing. But the one that I have not tried that I am looking forward to the most is I want to get the new field piece probes, and the name of them I'm kind of drawing a blank. But now that they are pairing up with the Measure Quick app, I mean, it's kind of hard not to want to go get those. I mean, those sound pretty awesome. So I definitely want to get those. I'm going to buy those actually ASAP because I want to get them, even though we're going to go into heat pump season, even though air conditioning's done, because those just sound awesome. That, they have the kind of range that we're all looking for. They have the temperature, the air side that you can do. You can add probes onto it. And then the fact that it goes with, Jim Bergman's Measure Quick app, that's badass. I mean, to be honest, you're getting pretty much what the iManifold does for a third of the cost. So you really, really can't beat that. So a bunch of guys have asked me, let me back up for a second. Kelly, when you're in the field, you're still using analogs. Have you used any of these digital gauges? Have you seen any, personally, that, any pros and cons that you see?
One of my techs uses the Testos, and he takes really good care of them, and he loves them. He cleans them, probably once every 3 weeks, and he takes mineral oil to them, and he follows what the manufacturer recommends, I believe, but he loves them. Other than that, the S-Man 500s, is that it? 550. I bought a couple of sets of those. I do kind of like those, but other than that, that's about it.
Yeah, so people have asked me questions, and it's hard because I think a lot is personal preference, guys. It really is. So I know a couple of guys asked me questions, and I hope that this helps because I don't want to lead anybody in the wrong way. And I'm not going to tell everybody, you got to buy the Yellow Jacket one because they're a sponsor. And I don't want to do that. I'm not going to push anything on anybody. After I put this review out, if you want to go buy them, then great. I do think that I really, really like them. I really, really do. I've been very impressed. To be honest, my first impression when I took it out of the box was, this thing is beefy, man. It feels like a tank, which is good. And I've had the thing in the rain, and this thing is held up the screen. Even when it's wet, I can still hit it, and it's not, sometimes your cell phone, when it gets wet, you go to hit the button and it doesn't do anything. This one actually does. The only thing that I'm not a huge fan of is the way the temperature probes are like phone jack kind of plugs. And I guess it's not really, it's just different. It could be, better than, the way Testo and other people do it. I'm just getting used to it.
I need to buy a new leak detector because the one that we have currently, I only have one of the H10s, and as most of us know, they don't do that great of a job of finding 410A, and it's almost 85% of the calls we go on anymore. Probably 80% is 410A anymore. I mean, it's getting less and less. So, what is that? It's the UV AccuProbe UV. Is that what it's called? The one from Yellow Jacket that's really good for 410A leak detection.
Yes, it's the Yellow Jacket UV. I'll send you a picture of it. Yeah. I'll text it to you. Or actually, before you buy that, I'll talk to Yellow Jacket about that.
Does it? No, it does. You can sniff 22 with it as well. Is that correct?
Yes, okay. You can. I have never used it on 22. That's why I've just made sure I've said that, so I can't speak to how it works. I've only personally ever used it on 410. It's been fucking phenomenal.
Nice.
I mean, the thing has been great. That thing has been awesome. So not a Digital Manifold, but if you guys are looking for a leak detector, and yes, it's Yellow Jacket. Yes, they're a sponsor, but this thing is badass. Once you use it, you'll be like, oh man, I see what Gil was talking about, because it really, really is. It's a badass leak detector. I found some leaks very, very fast. I mean, I've been able to, it's here on high, and then kind of, lower it down and then pinpoint a leak, like, damn, the leak's right there. And then,
Nice.
Squirt some soap bubbles, and I'll be damned if it don't bubble up. And you do all this in a matter of, 15 minutes. Yeah. I mean, that's a true story.
We've been using the Infocon. I don't know which model it is, but I mean, I just bought like 2 or 3 of them last summer. So the Infocon, and it's questionable on a lot of times on just leaks in general. So I want something a little more reliable. I wish that the H10s did as good a job on 410A as they do on 22, and that they weren't so damn expensive. But, that's why I need to find one that works good for 410A. So we'll definitely give it a try.
Yeah, the Infocons, I have one of the D-Tech Selects. Is yours gray?
Yeah,
like a gray?
they're gray for sure.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the Infocon D-Tech Select. Those are pretty decent, let me say this. They're pretty decent when they work. When I first got that thing was really good. I was actually, because there was times because I have an H10 Pro that I would use that always for 22. And then sometimes I would grab the Infocon for 410 leaks. And at first it was awesome, but I've had some issues with the battery holding a charge. Where I'll charge the thing and it'll say it's fully charged, and then I'll go out and I'll start to do a leak search, and after 5 minutes the battery light's blinking. So I'm like, fuck.
Maybe you got a bum battery.
Yeah, so I got to contact them to maybe see. I've tried. Yeah, I've tried the UEI version years ago. Just the battery powered UEI version. It was complete shit. Like, it just didn't work worth a damn. Yeah, I've never used that one. I had one of the field piece. It's the SLR8. I know there's 2 of them. It's the heated diode one, not the infrared one. And that was actually pretty decent. I didn't have any complaints for the time that I had it. That was pretty good at finding leaks. Granted, I only used it for maybe 1 summer, and then I gave it to one of my guys.
Yeah.
And he had it until he left the company.
Right.
Probably should have took that back, but anyway. That was good. But as far as the digital manifolds, guys, if you have any questions personally, if I can help you before you make a purchase, I'd be more than happy to give you any kind of advice that you want. And I only brought that topic up, like I said, a few people had hit me up. I guess for the price, and probably Yellow Jacket won't like this, I still think for the price, my go-to would still be the Testo 550s, only if I'm comparing prices versus what I'm getting for it. The S-Man to me is it's a little bit more expensive. It's a little bit more bulkier, but I still think that any of you guys that are out there in the market should definitely give the Yellow Jacket a run, because it's pretty sweet. There's really a lot of things that I like about it. And like I said, I'm not going to go into it too much because I have the video and I don't want to spoil it, but they're pretty sweet. I really, really like what they have to offer. So yeah, if you guys have any questions and you want to hit us up, you guys know the email, HVAC_uncensored@gmail.com. I'd be more than happy to help anybody. I don't know everything about everything, but the fact that I'm a tool whore, I've owned a lot of different products and given it away, given it to my guys. So if I can help you before you make that purchase, I'd be more than happy to do that.
It's one thing they don't tell you. One thing they don't tell you when you become a manager or a team leader or an owner is that you're going to lose tools. You're gonna lend out tools that you're never going to see again. That I've lost, almost a complete round of tools, and then have repurchased them and build them back up. But that's something nobody tells you. Just forewarning you.
Oh yeah, I know. Oh hey Gil, can I use this just for today? And then I'll work with the guy 7 months later. I'm like, hey, isn't that mine? Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to give that back to you. Yeah, Dick, give me that. But it happens, and then sometimes I'll test things out, and guys will need stuff, and we'll just give it to them. I know the owners do it a lot, where he would have something, and if the guys need it, they didn't have a leak detector, and we had a couple. Rather than them having to buy one for full price on their tool loan, he'll be like, hey, I'll give you this one for such and such amount of money, and we'll just put it on your tool loan. So sometimes it helps out everybody. All right, I guess we're not going to go too long this week. We are going to close it out with a little let's see if I can find this right bumper. Let's see. Wish me luck, Kelly.
And now Q&A with Gil and Kelley.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I deserve that because I forgot what button that one was. But we did have a question come in that I want to answer. Hold your fucking horses, people. I need to find it. Okay. This is from a Mr. Nick Taylor, and thank you, Nick, for sending in this question, man. It's a very, very good question. I wanted to give you guys a topic to talk about on a future podcast. As a small business owner just starting up, I would like to know what are some good ways to write up a proposal for a change out or new system, or new install to cover myself. It's basically a contract that customer signs and pays you for to do the work, but what are some clauses that should be written into the proposal to protect me from a customer who tries to back out because they wanted a purple condenser and the one that I put in was gray, or some ridiculous crap like that? Some people will work hard to get out of paying the bill. Me and Kelly actually talked about this before we started recording. I don't know. You want to go first, Kel?
Sure. First of all, I think that, this is something that does not happen too terribly often. I mean, I can tell you we've done millions and millions of dollars over the past, 10 years of being in business. And the highest at any given time in my accounts receivable was long overdue accounts receivable, past 120 days. Very rarely does it ever get over $5,000. And if that happens, those people are usually getting turned over to collections. So it doesn't happen very often. That's the first thing I'd say. But secondly, I think it has to do with communication. We have to communicate clearly to the customer that, whatever it is, you got to find out with your state what's legal. We were doing half down. I never took the time to look into that to see if that's legal or not. But we were doing half down upon agreement, and then the remainder due upon completion. But then I changed it to 20% down, and I just put in little fine writing on my contract that they sign that says that's non-refundable. Now, of course, if they throw a shit fit about something and they decide not to go with me, then I would give them their money back. It's more of a thing that holds them accountable, because if they made the decision, we have done some footwork at that point. We've ordered equipment, we've pulled material, we're ready to do the job. So I think I shouldn't give that money back, but like I said, if somebody bitched loud enough, I would give it back. It's not worth going to court over or anything. But so always get some type of down payment as good faith that they're going to actually do the job and go through with it with you. And then, I've heard that you could even start doing the job, like go out, and if it's wintertime, go pull the disconnect if you're changing the whole system. And you can say, look, I went ahead and got prepared outside for the guys. Even if it's something that minor, or if it's during the summer, you could go shut the gas off to the furnace, because that's actually performing some work. So then you would have a bigger leg to stand on, if it got to the point where they didn't want to pay you, that you actually did some of that work, even though it was minor. So that's another route that you could go. But, it's just about communicating that to the customer, letting them know, look, Mrs. Jones, when we get finished, the rest is going to do. Was that going to be cash, check, or credit card? How are you going to pay for it? And just flat be blunt with them. Don't be afraid. Just be blunt, and just ask, how are you going to pay? Cash, check, or credit card? If they're financing, well, that's easy because the money, once they're qualified, and you just go online and register it, and boom, you get the money the next day. That's a simple thing. So you're safe with that. As long as you have them sign their right to cancel notice. Most finance companies have a right to cancel. It's what credit card companies use. So if they decide that they don't want to do it, they technically, and I think this is throughout the majority of the United States, they have 3 days to decide if they really want that or not. So they could return a purchase if they purchase something on their credit card or whatever. So it's best, if they are financing, to have them sign that right to cancel form at least 3 days before you do the job. That way they can't cancel on you, and you can make sure to get paid. But other than that, what do you got to say about that, Gil?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. When me and Kelly talked about this, as long as I've been doing this and doing sales, that situation has not happened as many times. I mean, it's very rare. And I guess in my mind, and I don't mean this in offense to you, Nick, because I don't know whether you're saying you're having this issue a lot or what, but if you have that problem too much, something went wrong in the process, because a customer's not going to want to go from giving you, $5, $6, $7, $10,000 to you install it, and now all of a sudden it's like, hey, motherfucker, I don't want to pay you. Something had to go wrong. Something wasn't done to how, maybe they thought, you were putting in this and you put in that. They thought you were going to do this and you did that. Maybe something wasn't explained properly, or it's not the right
absolutely.
clientele. I mean, not all installs are good installs. I mean, I hate to say it that way. Some you need to step away from, but I think that if you do your process, and like Kelly said, sometimes you need to be blunt and ask questions. Me and my owner actually just talked about the other day. We learned in a class from Joe Cunningham, where he says, and he has one for like service, installs, everything. But when you're going in to do a sales call, and I don't know it verbatim, but it's going to be where you pretty much say, he's like, hey, I'm going to design the best system that I think to fit your needs today. And he goes through blah, blah, blah. But at the end, he says, all that I ask is that you give me a yes or no when we're finished. So that kind of gets that answer, but and then.
Yeah. Before we move too far past that, I just want to say that I learned that from Weldon Long, and there's a video on YouTube, and I just flat out, I copied it. And basically when he sits down, he says, and I break it down to make it easy to learn, but he says, Ms. Smith, my job here today is to design the perfect system for you and your family, to answer all your questions and to get the price right. And the only thing that I ask of you is that you let me know if I'm a good fit for you and your family, and no is a perfectly acceptable answer. Fair enough? And then they're going to say, sure. And then you move on. But anyhow, that sounds awfully alike.
Yeah. And to be honest, it sounds more like what you said. I was just trying to think of it at the last minute.
I got it memorized because I break things down sometimes, like stuff like that I need to memorize to make it a little easier. But I'm very not polished at the sales presentation right now. I haven't done many bids. But anyhow, sorry to interrupt. Go on.
No, you're fine. Because this guy had another one for service. It's where, hey, Mrs. Jones, I'm going to check out your system today. Make sure everything that is working properly. It's safe to operate. If I find any issues, do you want me to go ahead and just fix them? Or would you like me to come, present them to you and talk about them? And most people are going to say, yeah, come talk to me about them. But when you say that, they're already expecting you to come back and be like,
yes.
Hey, this isn't working. But And I'm not saying that one right either. And the sad part is we preach that to the guys. And so I should probably know that. I have it written down somewhere, but that's a class I took in Texas that was awesome class. But what I was saying about that process is, is everything that you explain, everything you got to explain while you're at the table. So make sure if the customer has questions that you're answering those questions, any of them they have, so that when you leave that table, they feel good about the purchase they just made. You're laughing, you're smiling, to be honest, to the point that when you're done, you're talking about, little Billy's football game or something, to that their mind already feels at ease, that they don't feel like they need to be, as you're walking out the door, you guys are going to be here tomorrow? When are you coming to do this? Where they're asking those timid questions because they don't feel right that something happened. As far as your paperwork, I mean, you could feel free to email me again, bud. And what we use, to be honest, I think it's like a pre-made. I don't think it's anything fancy that we use. It's just like a good, better, best that they sign in official, the company signs, that has some verbiage at the bottom that I've never really read. Yeah, whatever it is.
Some verbiage. That's what it is.
The fucking...
It's a Gillism. Yeah.
It's a Gillism. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, it's got some of those things at the bottom, the fine print at the bottom, that needs to be in any kind of standard contract. We're the same way as Kelly is. We ask for a third down. Obviously, if it's financing, we're not worried about it, because that's already taken care of before we ever install anything. Otherwise, we ask for a third deposit. The balance is due upon completion. But that's normally, we'll go through the system. We'll show them, inside, outside, every aspect, let them ask their questions, show them how to operate the thermostat, whether it's communicating or whatever have you, it will be. Go through all that, answer their questions, and then we do, the payment and stuff like that. And we really haven't had that issues. Like, I can't remember the last time that has happened. So I'm sorry if that doesn't help more. I mean, if you're having that issue a lot, like I said, man, I would think about the clientele. Maybe your sales presentation needs to be tweaked, or sometimes, talk to a lawyer, tell them, hey, this is the problem I'm having. What kind of clauses can I put in my contracts to kind of cover me here? But I don't know if it comes, Kelly, when it comes to equipment, is it different in each state? Because I know some places, once you install that, you technically can't take it back out, can you?
I think that's everywhere. It's, it's the old possession is 9/10 of the law. So once it's in their possession, you can't just go rip it out, or you could get arrested for that and go to jail for that, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, we've done where if we thought there was a hiccup on payment, I mean, we would take a wire off or, something like that. I mean, I know it sounds kind of cruddy, but we've had to do that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But like I said, it's been very, very rare. So that's the only advice I can give, man. I hope that it helps. If not, I apologize, but I hope that I'll say this. I hope that you're not having this situation that much. I hope that it's just maybe something that happened recently and it's fresh on your mind, and not something that you happen to have several times, because I don't know, the rest of you guys, reach out in the Facebook group. Is this happening to you guys frequently, or is this rare? Or me and Kelly just different because it's rare? Because I don't see this that often.
Here's something that could help quite a bit, because I like to paint the picture with the customer. Like if I'm going downstairs, I'm going to paint the picture. I'm going to be like, I'm going to change this return. It's going to be like this, it's going to look right here. And then we're going to add this humidifier, and you're actually going to, it's a bypass humidifier. You're going to have this pipe going across right here. Like, I paint the picture for the customer. And then I've got sales brochures. So like what you were saying, which I know was just like hypothetical of what if, they wanted a green unit and you said a gray unit and they don't like the color. Well, you should have sales brochures. Your distributor at the supply house will give you those to you for free. Show them what the equipment looks like. Like, I think if we just spend a little more time on the sales presentation itself, a lot of this stuff will go away for you. And, if they're not willing to give you the time, they're probably not. It goes back to what Gil keeps saying, and I have to agree. Maybe they're not your clientele. Raise your rates by $1,000. And if they still won't go with you, then they're probably not A, your sales presentation needs to be beefed up quite a bit, or B, they're just not your client, because we shouldn't be having these problems with, the type of people we actually want to do business with.
Yeah, and especially what I was just thinking about, Kelly, not even interrupt you, brother, is that he said he's just starting out as a small business owner. So that right there tells me that you probably haven't honed in on your sales process, which is not a knock. That's normal. Most guys aren't going to start out in business and they're going to have all their ducks in a row. So now the more I think about it, I really think, man, if you go take a sales class or something like that, or you actually get your sales process honed in to where you're asking the right questions. We actually have a sheet for that I had nothing to do with. My owner has had this sheet for a while, but it works like a fucking champ, that we ask certain questions. Like I've said, that we ask questions that we know we're going to get the answers that we want to get the information that we need. And it works like a charm. That the sales process, it's a process that we've put forward, that if you follow it and you actually have some kind of charisma and personality, customer service skills, that it works. I mean, are you going to close every deal? No, you're not supposed to, but it works more than it doesn't work, needless to say. So I would try that, man. I would try, maybe looking at your sales process and your presentation to see how that works and see if that helps. So, but I really thank you for sending your question, man. I really do appreciate it and hope that we helped you in some way. If we didn't help you, it's all
Kelly's fault.
And
please don't take offense when I say maybe they're not the right customers, because trust me, man, starting out, I did work for anybody and I was the cheapest on the block. And to a certain extent, I think that's what you have to do to get known and to get noticed in the beginning. You just can't stay in that spot. Like, you have to keep progressing and raising your rates, even if it's incrementally. I love, the 2 cents in 2 minutes. Josh, what's his last? Rodriguez? Josh? Okay, so
yes.
I love Josh's thing. He did a 2 cents in 2 minutes, and he was like, act as if you are a big company and charge what the big companies are charging. I love that. However, that can be really, really difficult when you're first starting out and nobody's even heard of you. So you gotta be a little forgiving with that, to a certain extent, because it's going to be hard. I mean, you're competing against people that, just like we talked at the beginning of the podcast, that they're seeing everywhere, and because they see them everywhere, because they advertise, and they got a bunch of trucks on the road, there's, a sense of, there's a peace of mind there that this company is, they must be doing something right, because look at all these trucks and look at the advertising. I see them all the time. So you're competing against those people, and when we're at that bottom position, we don't always get the best pick of the people that we would really love to do business with. So I probably didn't answer that very well, so I apologize. But yeah, what were you gonna say?
No, you did. Sorry, I didn't mean to chime in. I was gonna say, like you were just saying, and the customers want to know, if you sell them a 10-year parts and labor warranty, that you're going to be in business in 10 years. You know what I mean? Like,
you might have a hard time. You might have a hard time offering those types of things when you're just beginning. So, just word of mouth and referral. You'll slowly climb the ladder of clients and get better and better clients, and keep raising your rates as you continue.
Yeah, I think this might just be a growing pain, to be honest, man. But if you are starting out, it's definitely, you do want to get all your paperwork, proper, as far as all those little fine print. Technically, go digital. That's, we're getting ready to make that switch, which we've talked about in other podcasts, but I would go digital. But regardless, make sure all that stuff is in there.
When you do, make sure to ask for Bree. Like, you got to talk to Bree. She's my go-to person there at House Call Pro. Anybody who goes House Call Pro, be sure to talk to Bree.
I will.
She'll set you up. So
I might call Bree just to have a conversation and see how she likes it.
Well, she'll know who I am. But she knows me and our buddy in Texas. She's like, you and our buddy in Texas, she's like, you two are just the nicest people when we talk. So she's a sweetheart, and she does a good job, and she'll get you set up, and she'll walk you through the, the onboarding process, and good company to deal with. So
nice. Well, maybe I'll call her when we finalize this thing with us.
That I sent you.
No, I'll tell her that Texas boy sent me.
That the Kansas boy sent you.
No, I definitely will. But all right, guys, man, I hope you guys had a good episode. We have some guests coming up here shortly, some things planned. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, but let's go ahead and close it out. Go ahead, Kel.
Hey, guys, thanks a lot for listening. Thanks for the support. Greatly appreciate it. And hopefully by the end of the year, I'm going to have a program. I'm going to show you exactly how to get to $1 million in your business, step by step. Here's what you do. And it'll be something where you can, we'll form a group. But I want to help. My goal is to help 500 business owners get to $1 million. So look forward to that in the future. Guys, thanks so much for supporting us. Be safe if you're in danger of the hurricane. Absolutely be safe. And my thoughts are with Travis's, if it's his wife or his mom or whoever it is. Sorry we don't have more information about that, but definitely our thoughts are with them. And guys, have a great week and go make money.
Yeah, guys. Thank you guys as always, man. You guys know the deal by now. You can check us out on all the major podcast apps. We are on iTunes podcast app. We're on the Google Play Store. We're on the Stitcher app, soon to be on SoundCloud, Spotify, and any other ones that you would like us to be on. Just hit us up. You can always reach us at HVAC Uncensored at gmail.com. Don't forget we have the website, which is HVACuncensored.com, or www.HVACuncensored.com. We'd like to thank our sponsor, as always, for making this possible, Yellow Jacket. They have been awesome for us in this beginning stages. The other thing that, real fast, I want to throw in the end, this Kelly has put in our Facebook group is, guys, go join our email list. We are going to have giveaways just for people on the email list. There's going to be a lot of perks that you guys are going to get being on there. So definitely go join the email list. That is something we're starting up, and it's going to be a big thing, and you guys will benefit by just taking a few moments to do that. Other than that, man, thank you guys so much, man. Like I always say, that we appreciate each and every one of you guys. This has been such a fun ride thus far. It really, really has. You guys have been awesome. We would be nothing without you guys. We just can't thank you enough for the support. But remember, be safe. Always set yourself apart. Do what the next guy's not doing. And always make sure they remember who you are. You guys have a good night. And we will see you next week.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.